The San Antonio Spurs dropped the first two games against the Hornets in New Orleans and now face the challenge of trying to even up this best-of-7 game series at home.
With a 10-point win over the Packers Thursday night, the Cowboys are in cruise control going into the postseason. The hottest team right now in the NFC and looking very good with only 4 weeks to go in the season.
Being hearing impaired is not an obstacle for these athletes. It's just part of the game. To them, football is football, and they leave all their actions do the talking out on the field.
In order to get past Stanford, the Horns had to take out the Lopez twins. I guess you could say 1 out of 2 ain't so bad.
Hey, Jeff, 12,364 fans showed up for this game. That is the largest opening day crowd in Express history and the 5th largest ever in Express history, and what a game it was.
Next up for the defending NBA champions, they'll take on the New Orleans Hornets in the Western Conference semifinals. A tough team led by a tough warrior in Chris Paul.
Time now for the Howdy Honda Sports Report.
It's also time for another Lone Star Showdown, this time in softball. Hello and welcome to your News 8 Austin Sports Report. I'm Shane McAuliffe. The Horns face Texas A&M for the first time this season, and this Aggies team is stout. Ranked 5th in the country with a 36-6 record and undefeated in conference play. It's no doubt Texas will have their hands full against the Aggies. We head to McCombs Field where the Aggie faithful arrived in full force. Texas A&M takes a score the hard way, getting hit by the pitch with the bases loaded. It may hurt, but maybe not so bad. After all, it does give the Aggies a lead, but you want to see a big hit, check this one out. Lawrence Johnson. That one is over the fence, and it's a solo homer that ties the game 1-1 in the 4th. But that's all Texas would get. A&M takes back the lead on a 2-run homer and finishes off the Horns 3-1, your final.
With a 10-point win over the Packers Thursday night, the Cowboys are in cruise control going into the postseason. The hottest team right now in the NFC and looking very good with only 4 weeks to go in the season.
I think that this is a team that's probably not going to lose any more games, in the regular season. So to get this lead on them, it was big. And, I think that they're a veteran team. They came down here and played hard. So, this was a big game, but they only get bigger from here on out.
It really is nice to be up, to have the advantage. So, plus, winning a game that just adds another win to our record.
It was huge. It really was. Big football game. To go against a football team with identical records and to come out on top, it makes you feel good.
To sit here and have a team that's 11-1, and we've never done that before. We've never been a part of it. It just feels great.
With Brett Favre going down with an injury, who knows where the Packers go from here? But one thing is for sure, the Cowboys should have a clear shot at the NFC Championship. Reporting from Dallas, Shane McAuliffe, News 8 Sports.
The TSD Rangers are having one of their best seasons in recent memory. The Rangers offense is averaging 48 points a game, and the defense has been stout, shutting out 2 opponents this year. And they do it all without the ability to hear.
And our statement, I think, this year is deaf people might not be able to hear as well as the other people on those teams. We can still play as well. We can play some football pretty good is what I mean. I think we've always known that. We've always known that we had the athletes here. We've always known that we had the talents here. But we had to find some way to progress and show that.
And show that they have. The Rangers are 9-2 going into the postseason, and they're playing with a growing confidence while staying focused on the task at hand.
Of course, we're focusing in on the Friday game. That's what we care about. It's game by game. Once we get past that, I think that'll give us the confidence for the 2 weeks coming and the 3 weeks after that.
Head coach Matt Thompson says the secret of the team's success is simply relying on the team's athletic ability.
I think here it's an open door for all players. In the public school with our kids, they often don't have the opportunity to get the door open. They're limited. Here we've got an open door policy. If you've got the talent, we've got the use for your talent.
Being hearing impaired is not an obstacle for these athletes. It's just part of the game. To them, football is football, and they leave all their actions do the talking out on the field.
With the communication, our team is strong. We're like a group of brothers. We have so many different concepts of what a team is. What we call each other, blood being blue, the 300, the movie 300. Always joking on stuff like that, but cherishing each other and caring for each other as brothers. How much closer can you get? Yeah, we're close.
For News 8 Sports, I'm Shane McAuliffe.
In order to get past Stanford, the Horns had to take out the Lopez twins. I guess you could say 1 out of 2 ain't so bad. Brooke Lopez with 26 points on the night. Robin Lopez, not a factor against the Horns. and that Texas offense led the way as the Horns cut down the Cardinal.
Texas started things off with a bang against Stanford. But the wheels really got rolling when guard A.J. Abrams and D.J. Augustine got warmed up. A.J.'s three gave Texas an 18-9 lead, and D.J.'s incredibly versatile play put Texas up by 9 points at the half. In the second half, Stanford gives Texas a scare, closing the Horns' lead to just 1 point. But the Horns clamped down on D and overpowered a tired Cardinal team with a 20-3 run. And Texas advances with an 82-62 win. No drama here as the Horns move into the Elite Eight.
It's great, man, but we know we got a long way to go. It felt good. It's going to feel good for about like 2.5 more minutes until we go out there and watch Memphis play. And then it's going to go away and we're going to get ready to go.
We had a lot of fans tonight. I think they helped us a lot, with the intensity. And hopefully we get that on Sunday.
I'm really proud of what we've done so far, but like everybody's been saying, we're not where we want to be yet. We got one game to go. We don't know who we're going to play yet, but we're going to enjoy this for right now and focus on who we got to play tomorrow.
Next up for the Horns, they'll take on the Memphis Tigers. Winner of that game goes on to the Final Four in San Antonio. That game Sunday right here in Houston. Of course, News 8 Sports will be here in Houston all weekend. On Saturday, we'll have a preview of the game. Keep in mind, Sunday following the game, you can see the entire basketball press conference right here, live on News 8 Austin. Reporting from Houston, Texas, Shane McAuliffe, News 8 Sports. Hey, Jeff, 12,364 fans showed up for this game. That is the largest opening day crowd in Express history and the 5th largest ever in Express history. And what a game it was. A pitcher's duel for 8 2/3 innings, but the bats finally woke up in the 9th. We go to the top of the 9th. 2 outs for New Orleans, and Argenis Rejas comes up with the long RBI triple. That scores a run as the Zephyrs take a 1-0 lead. In the bottom of the 9th, with 2 outs and 2 men on, Reggie Abercrombie comes through with the RBI single. That ties the game at 1-1. Keep in mind, still 2 outs in the inning. Johnny Ash would draw the full count walk to load the bases, and following him would be Josh Paul, a player the Express just picked up this past week. He draws the full count walk. That's your game winner, a walk with the bases loaded. Express win their home opener 2-1. That is the 3rd year in a row the Express have done just that, and these same 2 teams go back at it Saturday night at 7:05. Reporting from the Dell Diamond, Shane McAuliffe, News 8 Sports.
The physical nature of the Spurs-Suns series continued all the way to the final bucket of Game 5. The Spurs move on with the 92-87 win, taking the series 4-1. But with the level of play as intense as it's been between these 2 teams, Spurs head coach Greg Popovich felt like it was the final game of the season.
Well, it's good to know that the playoffs are over, and we don't have to play anybody else, do we?
Oh, we'll get to that in a bit. But first off, you have to give credit to Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, the only players in double figures for the Spurs, scoring 18 of the team's 23 points in the 4th quarter, sealing the deal for San Antonio.
In the 4th quarter, we told ourselves, we had to treat it like, Game 7. It was huge for us to win this game and make sure we get some rest. And so in the 4th quarter, we definitely played better, and we made the stops that we needed.
Next up for the defending NBA champions, they'll take on the New Orleans Hornets in the Western Conference semifinals. A tough team led by a tough warrior in Chris Paul.
If you watch Chris Paul play, he does almost exactly what Steve Nash does. But he takes it to another level.
Chris Paul is the head of Snake. The way he's playing is unbelievable.
With the Spurs' attention on Chris Paul, they might be forgetting about Hornets forward David West. San Antonio split their season series with the Hornets at 2 games apiece, but in the last game, a 25-point loss to New Orleans, Paul led the team with 29 points. Instead of concentrating on the head of the snake, maybe they should be concentrating on the snake in the grass. With the Spurs in San Antonio, Shane McAuliffe, News 8 Sports.